Kindergarten students are skipping for joy as they attend a family engagement session about their newly acquired iPads. As part of a pilot program at Bailey's Elementary, student engagement begins with the touch of a screen. Bailey's staff was just as excited as the students for the opportunity to use the iPads as a tool to further meaningful learning.
I got an email saying that iPads are coming, we're looking for schools who might be interested in trying this out, and I said, sign me up please. If we're talking about building student engagement and providing meaningful learning opportunities, providing children access to an iPad so that teachers have another vehicle within which to provide instruction, I think it's important for us to do that.
Instruction changed due to the iPad program, not entirely, but the point of instructional technology is to elevate our learning. And so we were able to include technology, include the iPads in our classroom on a daily basis, and we really did see an increase in student engagement. It was a great tool, and it was a fun tool as well.
The Bailey's iPad pilot team held a family engagement session after school, using resources from Common Sense Media. This session provided families a chance to see how their students were using the iPads in the classroom to demonstrate what they've learned and how to extend student learning at home.
We really wanted to focus on parents using the iPads and using technology. It's not just something you give your child to keep them quiet. This is something that when you engage with your child, it's so much more meaningful. You're helping them make connections, helping them extend their thinking as you ask questions while they read that book. And so they had a chance to practice that and then took it home with their families. It was really cool because some younger and older siblings came. We had a this or that. So for example, we had, when you use your iPad, it should be on the ground or in your backpack. And so they would go to that side of the room. And so the kids, their younger siblings and older siblings got up with them and were going to those sides of the room. Like, should we use our iPad at the dinner table with food or without food? And so they got to talk about that, and they would talk about it with their families and go to that side. So the parents got to see what the expectations are, hear them from the kids, and see how that translates at home.
I wanted parents to see what children were doing with these devices, and that's exactly what happened. I walked in, and mommies and daddies, brothers and sisters were all huddled around these devices, and the children were showing their families how to use this tool for learning.
At the end of the hour-long technology session, the staff encouraged the students to bring their iPad home to practice with their families.
They had the session, took it home that night, and brought it back the next morning. So then on Friday, they took it home and brought it back on Monday. We were anxious. We thought, how many of them are going to bring them back? Every single kid brought them back. And we talked with some of them, and they wanted to be able to use them in the classroom. And they knew if they forgot them, they wouldn't have the chance to learn with their iPads that day. So as a school, we decided to take the iPads home every weekend, and the kids would go home, use them, and bring them back on Monday. They've been very successful with that.
We just want to set that example. We want to promote that digital citizenship and show that our students can be responsible with the help of their role models.
I think because it's been assigned to them, it has their name on it. They take extra special care of it because they know this is a learning tool and it's something that they enjoy using.
Throughout the pilot program, the team collaborated and discussed what was working, what was challenging, and where they could pivot, as well as ways to implement best practices using iPads in their classrooms.
For next year, I would take the iPad as an additional resource, as something helpful, and I would just focus on one app. You can do a lot in that app once you're comfortable with it. Like the camera app, we did a shape hunt where they took pictures and then they would go back and click on the picture, and there's a tool in the camera that they would highlight it and make it into a rectangle shape or a triangle shape or a circle shape. And so they had a lot of fun with that.
A couple things that might be helpful for teachers implementing this next year is take a deep breath. I know it can be overwhelming with all of the things that we have to do at the beginning of the school year. Rely on your TSPEC and your SPITs. They're there to help, and they're learning too. And also, take it slow. It doesn't all have to happen at once. The way that we introduced this in the short time we had it in our classroom was a slow and steady process. We introduced pieces of the iPad, literally what is this piece of the iPad? We labeled things on an anchor chart, and we then went ahead and introduced how to use the camera app, A lot of these things the students knew how to do, but it just further strengthened their skills. And I mean, you know what? You might have a kid that doesn't know how to use those things. So it was slow and steady, and I think we approached it in a developmentally appropriate way.
For young learners, iPads are easy to carry and easy to explore with the touch of a screen. But most importantly, this learning tool is a way for them to engage at school and at home in instructionally sound and healthy ways that current research supports. To learn more about healthy use of technology, please look for the video on healthy technology habits in Schoology, or continue to the next video in the playlist.